Mike go? If you're anything like me, just like, where did Mike go? Wow, I have to hit the camera button first. And if you're thinking, wow, if you're anything like me and you need coffee right now, then you got a home here. Welcome to the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state, nation, and world that we live in. Yes, we are super, super early today. I got a lot going on today on the other programs, and so I'm going to go ahead and hit those. So I wanted to make sure that I touch base with you and make sure that we have a conversation and we kind of hang out. So I know it's early, I know, but I got a lot of stuff going on. Hey, what's up, Rhonda? It's kind of a little 9/11 thing I'm be doing with Greg Meekin and Val Olson at 11. So that was the only time that they had. So we're just going to go ahead and jump on that, but we will be doing in other news directly after that. So it's going to be a long day. I'm still a little verklempt in the zwink. So excuse me if I'm throughout the show. But thank you for being here. I wanted to spend some time talking about how to really tick off a guide, like in any situation. And then I found this. I just thought this was just funny this morning. I don't know why it just struck my funny bone, but it was the weirdest things ever found inside of a shark's stomach. I don't know why this got me fired up. There are very weird things that you find in shark stomach, because understand this. There are three things, excuse me, that a shark does: swims, mates, and eats. That's it. Their entire life, they live a hot minute. They have a large life expectancy. So whatever they see in the ocean that they can't really decide what it is, they bite it first and see if it's food. So there are a lot of things that people find in shark stomachs. And I just, as a shark angler, as someone who loved to fish for sharks, there is a charter out of, I want to say, Long Beach. And there's a charter there where you can actually fly fish for mako sharks. Fly fish for mako sharks. Sign a brother up. I've never jumped on it for some reason. I think about it all the time when I think about sharks, when I think about eating sharks, which are fantastic. I think about that all the time. And I wonder what I would find if I cut into a shark and processed it on the boat. There has to be a bunch of crazy things that you find when you do. All right. How about this? Let's go right out of the weirdest. In 1994, a New York Times article reported the traveling shark exhibit that appeared at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. Part of the exhibit featured items found inside a shark's stomach over the years. How about this? Right out of the gates, we're going to start with a fur coat. That's right. In 1994, the exhibit had a fur coat on display, which is known as, but wasn't the only known instance of sharks eating fur coats. Shark Killer Tales from Dangerous Depths by Robert Reed, early 20th century Australian surgeon, noticed that tiger sharks found on the coast of the Adriatic Sea that had consumed not one, not two, but three overcoats, a nylon raincoat, and a fur coat. That fur coat looks like it's in pristine condition, which shows you that those beasts just they basically just swallow their food, and they rarely chew it. Yeah. And Brendan, yes, the kids do the same thing. The craziest thing. What's up, Garen? How you doing, brother? Right, pretty sure that's the kids. Yeah, all the kids. They're just like they're crazy. And it's funny because we got this new pup, and Ozzy just did he just eat a rock? Yes. Dogs eat rocks. Is he out there eating the grass? Yep. He's out there eating the grass. Dogs eat grass. Dogs will eat anything you put in front of them, except Ozzy. Now, here's the cool thing about this little pup. He's like me. He won't eat something you hand to him. You have to place it before him. I hate one of the things that the biggest pet peeves when somebody say, "Here, eat this," and they try to feed it to me. I can't handle it. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I don't like people handing me live things. You can hand me paperwork. You can hand me anything. You can hand me a fishing pole. You can hand me anything you want. But if you hand me a puppy, a cat, a dog, a guinea pig, or whatever, or a baby, it sets me off. I'm in a bad mood. I'm just in a bad mood. So I can't, I do not like having live things handed to me. And I don't like people feeding me things. I don't know why. It's weird. Like if I wanted a grape, I was going to go get a grape. Yeah. If I wanted a bite of that pizza, I was going to go get my own slice of pizza. I don't know why. It's weird. But the dog's the same way. Try to put a treat in his mouth. You put a piece of bacon in front of this dog. He's just staring at it. He might lick it. And then you put it down and then eats it. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What is it? Okay. Wait a second here. Lynn said, hey, it's me with a question. Has anyone had fried chicken skin? Yeah. What do you mean has anyone had fried chicken skin? Heck yeah. That's one of nature's delicacies. Come on, buddy. Really? You've never had fried chicken skin? Dude, that might be a typo or something like that. Because of course we've had fried chicken skin. It's delicious. I remember my buddy Rob, I remember having him taste steak fat for the first time. Like he was over there and he's just trimming the little fat off. He's just trimming the fat off. What the hell are you doing, boy? And he said, well, I'm trimming the fat off. It's bad for you. I'm like, A, no, it's not bad for you. B, why don't you take a whole cross section right there? And that little strip of fat that you're about to cut off, I want you to just take that all one bite, one big, and I want you to just put it in your mouth, let it dance. Just let it dance. Just go in there, just kind of let it play around in there. Let those flavors meld. He's been hooked ever since. You said only the skin. I get that. Like, yeah, hell yeah. Do you know how much skin I thieve from my kids' plates? Like if it just falls off or they leave a bone or something like that, I'll just peel the skin out. Fried chicken skin all day long. What I'm going to try next season when we go fishing is I'm going to try fried here we go, fish tails. Apparently it tastes just like potato chips. I'm not kidding. I'm going to try them. I've seen the recipe. I'm going to give it a shot. Fried fish tails. That makes sense. But anyway, I just thought it was funny, the things that they found in sharks, fur coats, license plates, of course, that we've seen. I would love to have an entire wall behind me of license plates that have been found in shark stomachs. Like they're a little bit mangled, a little bit bent. That's a hell of a story, right? A tattooed human arm, just great. They found a tattooed human arm, which actually helped them identify the victim, which was kind of cool. An entire reindeer. Talk about Bruce the Shark being on Santa's naughty list. Here we go. That's a way to get on Santa's naughty list. You ingest an entire reindeer. Yes. A great white shark. Let's see here. Ranges as long as shallow water. Oh, it's a bull shark. Holy mackerel. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Greenland shark. There we go. An unopened bottle of wine. I would sell that at auction. I'm not kidding. I'd put that on eBay. I'd tell you, I'd give a rat's if it was Boone's Farm. I would sell that online. I would try to say, who wants an unopened bottle of wine I just found in this mako shark or this tiger shark or this great white? And Rhonda, the only way to find out if the reindeer that was ingested was Rudolph is if the stomach is glowing now. What? He ingested a whole. They found a whole reindeer. Holy mackerel, they found a whole reindeer. All right, unopened bottle of wine. I'd be all about that. I'm not getting into politics, y'all. I'm going to do that for 2 hours today. I'm not getting into politics on this show, but they have found entire dogs, collar, leash, and all. Yeah. And like full, not even bit, just chomp, gone. Migrating birds, of course, we've seen that. And then they just they throw out some finalists here before we get into how to tick off a guide in any stretch. Unopened can of salmon. Oh, that's sad. The shark actually wanted some salmon. Could have had some salmon, but all he got was like lead and tin. That's terrible. A green iguana from the Galapagos Islands. Okay. A leather wallet. A coil of copper wire. I'll get back to that in a second. The propeller from an outboard motor. Got it. A bison hide. Y'all, I can't do it right now. But I could take over. I could show you Hank. Hank's hide is on my wall. My bison is on my wall. That thing's ginormous. It took Queen Bee and I an entire night to mount that thing on the wall. And a shark just wow. Mm-hmm. A box of nails and porcupine spines. Just the spines. And a porcupine and a shark. I see. That's why it's kind of crazy. But I do want to get back to the copper part. I did for a while back in the downturn, back in 2008. We lost everything. Just everything. We had nothing. And so I had to pull several jobs, including overnights at Home Depot. Okay, that's right. Yes. Oh yeah. Well, I had the orange apron and everything. Okay, I had to pay the bills. Look, I had to have insurance for my kids. I had 2 children. I had to pull the job, do whatever it took to make it happen for the fam. So to overnights at Home Depot. And one of the things that I got to see in the whole theft world, and this was prior to the craziness that we see today. Here's how people would steal copper wire. They would steal copper wire by taking a cart, one of the carts, and they would go get one of the big giant rolls. You've seen in the electrical department, right? The big giant rolls that are like wooden spools, and they'd put it in the cart. Now, if you notice, the carts have holes in them. Okay. So they would take it out to the garden section, and they would just leave the cart right by that very flimsy fence, vinyl, whatever the stuff they have that's with their little greenhouse thing that they got going on. They would start the wire through the grocery cart, through the buggy if you're from the Midwest, and then cut a little hole in the fence out to the parking lot, and then just drive around to the parking lot and just start pulling that thing out. Thousands of dollars in copper, just do. Crazy. But this shark just took an entire roll. Yeah. You're that guy that told me the wrong aisle. The best thing I had was questions when people asked, because I'd get there, because I do overnight, so I'd get there right before they closed. So people would ask me questions. So Chris said I'm the guy that told about the wrong aisle. Probably. I was asked, I don't know how many times, where are your black lights? And they would ask for different equipment. Where are your black lights? I'm like, really? For what? Oh, we're looking for scorpions. We're looking for scorpions. It sound like this. Hey man, where are black lights? Yeah, we're just looking for scorpions. Yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. All right. So Lynn said he saw my Facebook post yesterday. Yeah. And Grizz, yes, we're going early today because with Val and Greg, we have a little thing to do at 11, our normal spot, and then we have End of the News right after that. So I'm just going to be going most of today. So that's what it's going to go. So we're going that way. And yes, in Grizz, I'm surprised, and Eddie will probably jump in as well. Yes, I absolutely butchered a grill full of dove poppers. I did. I left them unattended. I left them on high heat, and I went and I started messing around with the puppy for some reason, started playing around, and then I look out and there's just this inferno. It's half a queen bee's wall just burnt. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, it might have been a few years back asking for black lights, but I'm sure you were there too, Brendan. All right. Anyway, let's get to this. There was and by the way, we have the dove poppers turned into pizza from Barrows. Yeah, that's exactly what it turned into. Mm-hmm. Oh, Grizz, I swear that's funny. I'll take it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to try it now. Now I'm going to try it. Now I'm going to try it. So you're just going to, I'm going to try it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, buddy, I appreciate that, Lynn. It makes you like, look, guys, I am so far from perfect in hunting and the outdoors and cooking. I do it all with you because it's fun and it's exciting to learn and grow together. And that's why I do it. So I am definitely not the pro at everything. Although I can take down some dove, I'll tell you that much. In the field. Apparently I can't grill them anymore. Yeah. And I didn't even think when I went to get the pizza too, that I should have ordered bacon and jalapenos toppings. And then at least it could have been dove. It could have been popper pizza, but gone. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this. There was a while back, we were talking about the oddity that is Southwestern United States hunting, really Western hunting, and how different that is from the Midwest and the East Coast. We aren't as game rich as they are, although we are the most biodiverse non-coastal state in the nation. We aren't as target rich and as harvest rich as the Midwest and the East Coast. So it's hard. Hunting here is not easy. It's vast land. It's up, it's down, it's hills. You got to put some time into it. So I was talking about that, all these, don't let the TV shows fool you in thinking that hunting out here is easy, because those TV shows have guides. They have cameramen. They have people that are glassing for them. As a matter of fact, if you know how they do these shows, where every season they seem to have these amazing tags in these amazing states. Here's what they do. And this is what I learned from Eva Shockey. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up that name I just dropped. That is the Chuck Norris of the Outdoors daughter, Jim Shockey, his daughter, Eva Shockey, had a book out. And so I had her on the show. And she explained to me how all these shows get this done. So she's sponsored, at the time, she's sponsored by Bass Pro. And so what Bass Pro would do is they would put in for almost every tag you could possibly put in for around the country. And that cost about $13 a clip if it's a lottery system. So they would put in for all these tags. What they got drawn for would dictate what that season was. And if they got drawn for too many, they would donate them. And yeah. So anyway, the key here is that a lot of them use guides. They use local guides that'll put them on things, and they make it set up like those people actually went hunting. And I'm not saying all of them do that, but some of them do. So much so some of them actually poach and get busted in doing that, like we've seen a few examples of. But I was thinking about my hunt in that I want a guide, that I really, really want to have a guide for this hunt coming up in November, because it is maybe the last time in a decade I get drawn for a bull elk in a decent unit. So I want to capitalize. I want something amazing, because if I do get amazing, that elk is going, that skull is going on the wall. And henceforth, I will put in for cow tags, and I'll get drawn a bunch of times, and I'll have free meat in the freezer, and life is good. That's my plan. So I want to hire a guide. I know a lot of guides, and I know what they like and don't like. So if you come out here from the Midwest, you have any of your buddies coming out here from the Midwest, and they say, hey, listen, I'm gonna get a guide, or you're saying like, dude, it's tough hunting out here. I know you got a tag, but you need to know. Which channel at 11? It's a great question, Rhonda. I don't know. I was sent a link by Val, and I'm going to click in just on StreamYard like we do this program. We do it on a program called StreamYard, and I'm just going to click, and I'm going to be in their studio, and I don't know. So I will try to post something out when you do it, but it's essentially going to be Greg introducing me and me talking about 9/11. So that's really where we're going, and then I'll do In Other News right after that. Okay, which we'll be talking about the debate and all that stuff. Anyway, I advise anyone from out of state that is starting to hunt here or starting to fish here to get a guide, to hire a guide. The Arizona Fishing Guides, slamming the best in Arizona. Okay, the Arizona Fishing Guides will put you on any body of water that you want to learn how to fish, because that's what hiring a guide is. Hiring a guide is not cheating. Hiring a guide is not looking for that trophy. Hiring a guide, if you get the trophy, great, but hiring a guide, and that'll probably be your best opportunity to do this early on, but hiring a guide is education. Hiring a guide is in education. For me, hunting this year and hiring a guide, the guide is for opportunity of success. And people can call that cheating. That's fine. But if they've done that, they haven't been like me and gotten 2 elk tags in 20 years. So it's a different mindset. Yeah. Brendan, I'll definitely send something out. If not, is it Clayton? Are you here, my man? There's my man, Clayton. Thank you, my man. My good friend Clayton had probably, sorry about that, right? Yeah. Hire Schleprock. That guy could take down some birds, I'll tell you that. Clayton was one of the best the best. He was the best striper guide out here. And just putting us on meat every single night, and just stringers full of fish, one of the coolest guys in the world. And he understands that guides are important. Guides are a necessity, so much so he became one. Hell of an angler. Introduced me to the striped bass being a 2-tap fish. You think I didn't remember this, huh, Clayton? Being a 2-tap fish, right? One tap on the rod tip, and then me tapping you on the shoulder saying you need new bait. I remember the joke, pal. I remember the joke. Miss you, guy. I'll reach out to you this week. But anyway, so we have to, here in Arizona, just get away from what people in the Midwest who, they can catch a limit of bass on string cheese, and they just stood up in a tree stand with coffee and a cigarette and maybe some leftover bacon from that morning, and they just watch the deer go by. It's a different world. Here, If you say I'm going to get a guide out there, I understand. That's kind of silly. Now you're just cheating. Here in Arizona, it comes down to education. Unless you're in a situation where you're like, this is my only time I'm going to get to hunt. Oh, you know what I get to show you guys tomorrow? I'm going to make a note of this. The Big Game Super Raffle. I've mentioned the Big Game Super Raffle before. The two of the tags from the Big Game Super Raffle have been filled. And damn, woo! That is a giant pronghorn. I'm talking like, I don't even know I'm going to guess 12 to 14 inches on this pronghorn. And then I don't even get your 450 plus on the elk that was taken. And this is just a raffle. You just put it in, and whoever wins. It's pretty amazing. So that is that I got those pictures from my buddy John Colazar yesterday, and I'll share those with you tomorrow. I didn't have time to get those loaded up, so I'll show you guys the Big Game Super Raffle draw. But they hired guides, but they won in a super raffle, so they're like, okay, I put $20-$40 into a raffle, and now I've got this amazing tag. I'm gonna hire a guide, and the results from hiring that guide just lifelong. Just lifelong awesomeness. You have a trophy, and that's cool. So I say here in Arizona, even in the southwestern United States and hunting, just, you know what, guides are it, or just Western hunting in general. Yeah, Brendan. Yes, that's exactly my point. Yeah, there's so many of them. I call it just like I call when I go up to Blue Rooster. I call that grocery shopping with firearms. In the Midwest, it's grocery shopping in a tree stand. It's the same thing. You just sit around waiting for what you want to come by, and you cap it. Yeah. What's the average cost of a guide? That's a great question, Grizz. So let's start with fishing. A couple $100 for a half day puts you on probably the most education you're ever going to need in whatever body of water you're at. Obviously, you want to tip your guide as well. Full days, few $100. Just the Arizona Fishing Guides, guys. Get over to the Arizona Fishing Guides and check that out. There's a couple different packages you can do with most guides. With most guides, they have a scouting package, which for at least I got a scouting package once. I believe it was $1,500 or something like that. But that's for your whole crew. So if you're there with a 5-person camp, that's $300 a piece to have a guide service. Go up to your unit the day before you get there and say, pin. It's rad. It really is. It's really, really good. Anyway, but it doesn't guarantee success. I'll tell you that much. And then the guide services can be $5,000, $10,000, depending on what you do. If you want a fully outfitted program where you just roll up in a car, and they have trucks, side by sides, cooks, food, tents, all of that. That's called fully outfitted. Those are about $10,000 for that. Yeah. And by the way, if you do hit something like Brendan is talking about his mom, been hit by a deer? What do you mean? Multiple times over the past few years because they charged in the side of her car. Whoa. Okay. Get sideswiped by a deer. But that's why it's so abundant. I'm not calling the people that are hunting in the Midwest and East Coast less hunters. It's just, it's different hunting. It's shopping. So much so that Brendan's mom's getting sideswiped by deer. It happens. There's nothing. So I remember being on the freeways, highways in the Midwest don't have the lights like we have here in the city. It's dark. It's your lights in the road. And I remember the scariest thing. I had my baby in the back. I had intern Beans as a baby in the back of the truck. And all I just saw was I saw four sets of eyes in my headlight off of the side of the freeway. And you're just driving, you're doing 80, and you're like, I don't know what to do here because one of them could step out, if not all of them. And I just slowed down, I honked, and they took off. Good thing it wasn't traffic or anything like that. I mean, it's dicey. It really is dicey. They basically beg people to hunt. They do. Again, in the state of Missouri, how about this? In the state of Missouri, there's around roughly 900,000 deer at the beginning of the season. There's roughly 600,000 deer at the end of the season. That's 300,000 deer taken in a state. November of next year, how many deer do you think there are? 900,000. Okay. So it's well balanced, it's well maintained, but damn. And they are. I mean, I think you can go to Walmart and get up to like, I forget it, what is it, like 19 doe tags or something like that, and like 2 or 4 buck tags. Yeah, for like $17. And then if you just want to go out there and hunt to hunt, they got Hunters for the Hungry are out there all the time running their trucks around. You just call them up, boom, just field dress it and just hang it up in the tree, and they'll just come grab it. I'll come grab it and feed the homeless and feed the hungry. So it's pretty rad. So there's definitely a lot to do there. Northern Maine, it's like moose almost. Oh. Jim, don't. Jim, why do you do this? Why do you do this? It's that abundant, really? Because I think moose, I think Alaska. But you're saying Northern Maine has moose like that. What are the size of these mooses? Because I want to know the mooses. If they're as big as Alaska, then I'm going to come see you in Northern Maine. I bucket list. I mean, just I'm missing only a handful of mounts that I want for my walls, and it's they're all skull. They're all European mount. They're all skull mount. So I'm missing an elk, a moose, a whitetail. I've had several whitetail. I just never had one mounted. Whitetail and a what do we call this thing? A muley deer. Yeah. South Carolina, the limit. What? I say what out of just sheer. Come on, really? Yeah. South Carolina had a limit there of 1 deer per day. I love venison. I really, really do. Yeah. So anyway, there's a couple. I had a couple as a kid. I got it. Oh, yeah, on this property. You're killing me, Smalls. Anyway, let's get back to the guides. We were talking about the guides. Here's one thing. Here's a couple tips to piss off your guides. This is what I thought would be fun to talk about, but we're damn near running out of time right now. But how about this? I'll give more of a commercial to the guides. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you the Big Game Super Raffle, and tomorrow I'm also going to talk about how to piss off your guides. And it's so easy to do. It really, really is. And Clayton right now, who spent years as a guide, is probably thinking, dude, I know exactly what Mike's going to say because it's happened to him a bunch of times. And probably the worst is when the first time he brought a radio show host onto his boat. Yeah, that probably pissed him off the most right there. Yeah, and then they keep bringing people and all these. Yeah, Clayton was such a good guide. I'm telling you, Clayton was such a damn good striper guide. Is that one time I was on the boat and it's the middle of the night and we're pulling in fish and no one's around us. I look up after just focusing on whatever the hell I was focusing on. And I look up and there's all these boat lights around. And there's these dudes. Hey, Clayton. Hey, Clayton. He's like, hey, Clayton. Hey, Clayton, mind if we post up over here? Yeah, okay, no problem. Because he was one of the coolest human beings in the world. And people knew they could do that. But people knew to go to Clayton because they knew he was on the fish. Where that boat was, that's where the fish were. My man. And tomorrow, Clayton, we usually do the show at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow, we'll tell the story of the barbecue. That's how to tick off a guide right there. Yes. All right. Let me get one. Here we go. On a visit to Wyoming, saw a moose family in the cemetery. Up out of getting out of the truck at the reverse. Yep. No, don't want it to charge you. There's a lot actually. There's a lot of states that you can't fish or hunt in the cemetery because there's a lot of wildlife in the cemetery. Y'all know we had this conversation with the doggy. I have a weird view of death. I don't like cemeteries. I don't think cemeteries should be around. So no use for cemeteries. I have no use. No, just a waste of real estate for me. And it's me, is my opinion. I'm all about squeezing into this tiny little urn and then go throw. There's actually something called a bio urn, by the way. Check them out. They're called bio urn. If you have a family member, loved one in an urn or something like that, and maybe you have some property, family property, it's not going to go anywhere. You can pick which tree that you put the ashes into, and it turns into that tree you planted. Pretty cool, right? My family, my family turned me into a cholla cactus. I know they would. They're like, that's just dad right there. Always poking and doing that. Holy cow, Brendan. What's the statute of limitations on this, guys? Do we turn Brendan in? If it was legal, dude, good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah. Throw me in the desert. That's right, Lynn. All right, y'all. I got to do this. Sorry, we did a little early run today. We might actually make 10 o'clock. If you guys like 10 o'clock, we might just make 10 o'clock a thing, which would be fine with me. But I'm going to go have a little fun with Val and Greg. And then we're going to do In Other News right after that. So thanks for playing along tomorrow. Committed. Going to get you the pictures of the Big Game Super Raffle full tags. And we'll talk about how to truly piss off your guide. So thanks for hanging out. This is Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors. This beautiful outdoor playground of a state, nation, and world that we live in. We'll see you later.